guys, welcome to my weekly Facebook Live show. I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder and president of Generation PR and the creator of the award-winning Profitable PR Pros Community and Generation Academy. I am here to help all digital agency owners grow and scale their businesses, create a business that they love, draw in their dream clients, all the things that will make you feel empowered and passionate about your business. That's how I feel, and whatever I know that could possibly help you, I'm here to share that with you as well. And today's topic is going to be around how to prepare clients for media interviews. Okay, these topics, like you guys know, come from our community. So they ask us, or they also ask the community for advice in our Profitable PR Pros Facebook group. If you're watching on the Generation PR page and you're not yet a member of our community, what are you waiting for? Go click through, just search Profitable PR Pros. There's over 4,000, almost 5,000 professionals all over the world that are sharing what they know, asking for help, and getting a lot of different people offering support and sharing their experience and expertise, and it's pretty incredible. I didn't know that we could do such a thing, create a community of PR professionals that were open and sharing and collaborative, because my experience kind of all the way up until we created this community was everybody being like, these are my secrets. If you take my secrets, then you will have an edge that I no longer have. And I honestly worried about that as I was putting all of this content together. We have so freaking much content for you guys, but really actionable, structured. And it's everything that I do in my business, all of our secret sauce on proposals and strategies and how I run my agency. And I thought I could put this out into the world and it could really backfire on me. It could, while I'm trying to help others, it could really hurt my agency, my business, my livelihood. And that just didn't happen, thank God. So I built this community and we attracted the best kind of professionals who are just open to collaborating. And today that will be my thing that I feel grateful for. I always feel grateful for it, but I'll write it in my gratitude journal because how lucky are we, that we all found each other. So that is not lost on me. Hello, Kelly. I hope you're feeling better. We had an agency accelerator coaching call yesterday, AA Plus. We have an amazing group there. A lot of the chat was around just sharing how we're feeling about business, client, getting new clients right now, like trying to secure retainers that really reflect the value that we provide, and having clients not get it. Offering $25 and a 6-pack of beer just ain't gonna pay the mortgage, right, Kelly? So it's very nice to get on a discussion with a lot of people doing what you're doing and going through what you're going. How is my audio? I just realized that audio is always an issue with me, but I think that I'm on, why won't it let me get to this? I think I'm just using my Yeti. Can you hear me? It's back here. Oh, yeah, hold on. Sorry about that. Hi, Elizabeth. Kelly, Elizabeth, can you let me know how the audio sounds? I didn't realize my mic was like behind my computer. It might have sounded really like far away and kind of tinny. Audio is great. Oh, for once in my life. Okay. Oh my God. Drinking a latte. Got it on my nose. Awesome. Okay. So, it sounds better. Okay, great. Elizabeth, I appreciate that. We have quite a few others on here. I'd love to know who's here. Say hi. Let's do this thing. And I'll share like a kind of a fun, interesting story maybe down the road. I will say that just if you're feeling this in your business, it's a little more challenging to convert leads to secured clients. Sometimes they ask for a lot and then they kind of ghost you. Or sometimes they seem hot and heavy and then they're like, just kidding, going in a different direction. I've heard a lot of people say that. And pause for a station break to recognize Elizabeth, Queenie, I'm assuming that's Chrissy as the Facebook user, and Petra. So happy to see you all. Queenie, I'm so glad you're back again. This is exciting news. Hopefully doesn't mean you're still homesick. And Petra, hello. I'm so happy you all are here. So the general feeling amongst all of our accelerator, Queenie is saying people have ghosted. It's common. It's happening right now. I think post-pandemic, there is a bit of a kind of vibe switch where things are harder to convert. I think especially with this kind of looming economic recession, interest rate, like all of the things that, inflation, all of the things that are impacting consumers are impacting businesses, and they're a little more gun shy. However, we are finding more leads coming in as of now. And I brought this up on my call yesterday. An old client, don't you love, isn't this like the thing that people do to look cute on social? An old client came back, like real old, long-term client, got bought by private equity, new leadership, found me and was like, let's get on the phone. And we have other brands under our portfolio that are aligned with your niches. Guys, niche down, like I always say. And so we're talking tomorrow, and it's like blast from the past. And I'm honestly just really glad they found us and honored that they liked the work that we did. I mean, we're talking like 6 years ago, but I don't think there's been much visibility for the brand since then. So I think they were like, that was a mistake not working with that agency anymore. Let's resurrect that. And by the way, we have other things for you too, which I love the opportunity to offer bundled pricing. Absolutely. Let's get all that work. And sure, if you give me all that work, we can come up with some really favorable pricing for all of us. So the point, hi, Supriya. The point is, and Natalie, hi, that I think it is coming around. There are budgets. There might be a little bit more skittishness, and we have experienced that. But I do see more leads coming up. So that's just a sort of update on how the community is feeling and what we're seeing, so that you don't think, oh gosh, it's only me. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. It's always nice to be on the radar. Have you ever had that happen when a client leaves? And I had a team member that left and came back the same day. And I was so glad. I was like, oh, you found your way back. Like, yay, you were great. And the grass isn't always greener. I think it was more, she wanted a more full-time thing. But leadership was not treating her well. And honestly, I don't understand that. I don't understand leading by gaslighting. You know what I mean? Like making somebody feel like, wow, you have so much potential, and then criticizing them in a way that makes them feel like they're not good enough. They can't leave because there's nothing better out there for them, and they have to work harder if they're going to recognize and realize that potential that the leader in the company says that they see in them. How is that a leadership style? I don't get it. Compassion, appreciation, gratitude. Like, oh my God, I got the best people on my team and they do amazing work. And I am so freaking lucky for that. And I'm so grateful. They get to do the things that I don't enjoy doing, make my business happier, make my job easier. And I don't have to do the stuff I don't like. And I'm just like, thank you so much. You're the best. Love you. So when she was like, I know the position's been filled, there's always something to do around here. So I was like, we'll figure it out. Anyway, so today's topic, Facebook, not Facebook. Okay, we're preparing clients for media interviews. So this came up in our community, and we know that whether it's a client, a seasoned CEO who's been on TV or been in, speaking to the media quite a bit, it's their 101st time or it's their first time. And especially if it's live, it's really stressful. It is a high pressure situation, and we want to help our clients be prepared for whatever the interviewer throws at them. And they might have to answer something that's a really challenging question on the fly that they don't anticipate. If your client doesn't feel comfortable and confident during the interview, it will not result, it'll backfire on both of you. So it's not going to be that great killer feature that you were expecting, like, oh my God, I got them an interview in the New York Times, that you guys are kind of both looking for. And it is our job as PR pros to ensure that this situation doesn't backfire, that doesn't happen, they don't get caught off guard, they're not scrambling like, deer in headlights. I guess a deer in headlights wouldn't scramble, they'd be frozen, but they're not frozen with concern about what to say because they didn't prepare for it. So I'm going to share with you 6 really powerful strategies to help you ensure your clients are prepped, they're ready to go for that next media interview, and you feel confident pitching them because they're going to nail it. But the first thing I want to talk about, it's not even in my notes, but it did come up in our agency accelerator call. And that is, a member of our community has a client that is like, well, why am I not on Good Morning America? But we're working together 3 months, has kind of a sort of cool, obscure app, brand new. Nobody's really on it. They have some like hosting experience, but there's not like a huge hook and story there. And he's got someone in his ear saying, oh man, I hate when people say this, the media is going to eat this up, right? And you're like, who is this person and why do you give them any weight over me, the expert, in what gets the media's attention? Give me a heart or a thumbs up or a hear if yes. I already Queenie says yes. I didn't even finish the question and she's already like, yep. If you have experienced clients that feel like their visibility should be national, plastered everywhere, the point is, and Kelly's saying, how would that person know? What's their expertise, right? So one of the things that I teach, I preach, I know is so incredibly important when you kick off client relationships and then you work managing client expectations. It is to immediately, even before they've signed the retainer, set those expectations. Let them know what is likely to happen. Because you have to ask. You may not have gotten to that information on the sales call that they expect in the first month or 2. You're going to be pitching GMA and land them a morning segment, or the Today Show in the 9 o'clock hour. Like, it is not going to happen. And if they think that's going to happen, you're never going to make them happy. So, and you should know that before you sign the contract, because if that is their expectation and they're not willing to hear from you what reality is, then you're not going to be successful. They're going to be miserable to work with because they're always going to be disappointed no matter what you get them. You could get them a segment on their local news, which is what you have to tell them is how they build up their telegenic muscle and they get that reel you can share. You show the producers that they're telegenic, they can carry a segment, they know what they're doing, they're engaging. You can't get national features unless it's something like a lightning in a bottle, like a viral video or something along those lines, right? If it's just an expert sharing their advice, their story, or whatever, you have to prove them out on different avenues. It could even be somebody's like Instagram show or Facebook Live. Kelly is saying so many clients don't understand the strategy or the ladder that they have to climb to get to the big national features for the attention they're seeking without climbing those smaller rungs first. That's exactly right. And you need to get to the bottom of that before they sign the agreement. Because if they're not willing to hear what they're going to expect or what they should expect, and instead they have Joe Schmo saying, that's Chrissy here, right? Facebook user. Because I'm talking, what we're talking about. Not that this was you, but just in general. If they are listening to like this person pumping them up, your story's so amazing, they got this bug in their ear, like media is going to eat it up with a spoon, then they're never going to be happy. And you have to let them know that it is like cumulative, it builds momentum, and there's a lot that gets proved out with these smaller publications. And Queenie's saying a lot of times those smaller publications have a bigger impact. And national media likes to see that they've been covered before, unless it's some groundbreaking product or company and they want to like be the first, but even then there has to be some polish and preparation. So let's talk about that. That was my first, get their expectations reasonably aligned with what is going to probably happen and not happen. That's just getting ready. Okay. Now you're getting clients ready for media interviews. So the first thing you're going to do is get their assets in order. And honestly, you should have this done before you pitch your clients for anything, let alone media interviews. But the specific assets that you may need, they may differ based on your niche, but you definitely need updated photography, like a headshot for them, a complete press kit with bio, backgrounder on the company, any samples, perhaps, if you happen to work with products, or if it's an app or something that is more, tech driven, you want to have access to, a lot of times there's like a soft launch or a beta launch. You have to be able to give access to the media to get on those platforms and try them out and understand so they can speak credibly about them when they're asking those questions. You have to have updated website links that are really built out with a ton of information. And the potential interviewer or the outlet may specify their need for additional assets, like a reel. Probably going to want a reel. It could be podcasts. You can edit it together for them, just showing they can carry a segment. They're telegenic. They want probably some facts, like fact sheets, so they can quickly pull information to round out their story and also round out the questions they ask by having up-to-date information. And of course, I mentioned it before, but really important to have that interviewee bio. And the bio should also include something around the why. Why did they create this company? Who do they serve? How do they serve them? What are they trying to accomplish with their expertise? Or what is if they're sharing a transformation, did they have the transformation? Do they coach other people how to have the transformation? How many people have they successfully led through this transformation? All of that should be included in the bio because it leads to credibility. And when the interviewee is sharing who they're talking to, the audience is going to pay attention, like, oh, crap, this person was able to lose 100 pounds using this method that nobody's ever, thought of. Like I don't even know, like Jared eating Subway subs, although he's a total perv and a creep. So not that example, but he had that transformation for himself based on eating Subway subs. And that was really newsworthy. And it was like before and afters were really compelling. Anyway, forget I said Jared, he's gross. Anyway. But if your client doesn't have any of these or all of these, you need to help them get on that ASAP, because the media is going to ask and you need to be able to turn out replies quickly so that you don't miss an opportunity. And when you have your client's asset locked down, like they're on lock, they're ready to go, buttoned up, you can confidently and easily pitch them last minute opportunities that come up. So you don't have to waste time tracking down missing assets. You're going to be stressing your client out, stressing out your contact because they're running up against a deadline, or you're trying to gather everything right before the interview. That's stressful. Your client's like, why didn't you have it all together? They don't know what they need. You just have to tell them, do you have this? And if not, let me help you create it. That's going to allow you to be able to respond immediately when a journalist or an interviewer requests your client's assets, and it'll make your job much easier. And the client will appreciate that you have thought through everything in advance, so they're just able to focus on the questions and that opportunity to be interviewed. And your media contacts obviously love when you're prepared and they're not waiting on you for a deadline. So that's first, gather assets. And if they don't have it, you have to help them pull them together. And just to recap what I shared, it could be fact sheet, photography, a bio, an updated bio. Don't use that same bio that's been everywhere for 7 years. Same outfit. It's like, get them to take some new images so it's fresh and it's up to date. And especially they should look in the interview how they look in their bio picture, not something, 10 years ago where the, CEO had like a full head of brown hair and now he's like graying and maybe just, got a little something on the sides left. And that's a different, like, they don't know who they're, they got to have it fresh, right? So it looks like they're up to date and not, pulling someone out of like the basement to come talk to them. So, cool. Okay. So number 2, prepare and share a briefing document. Okay. Super important. Briefing document. As soon as your client's interview is confirmed, you should start writing up a briefing document to share with them, with the team, with everybody who needs this information. And this will include, the briefing document will include general themes and topics of the interview, recommended messaging, like key messaging in bullets so it's easy to remember, and any anticipated questions. And if there are any specific quotes or statistics that you want your client to be able to use and to state cold so that they're ready, they have those stats ready to go. And the more technical meeting details, hi, okay, so I have 2 people on here. It says Facebook user. I'm assuming this new one is Chrissy. Who is the other one? I don't know who, but because I keep saying Chrissy, and you haven't been like, yes, it's me. So now I think it's you that came. So there's someone else here. I don't know why. I can't see it, but I think it's settings on your end where you make it like your private or not visible to businesses, because I think I'm going live as my business, not as like Jen the person. Anyway, technical side note. Okay, the more technical meeting details like the date, the time, the location, whether it's, Gina! Yay! Okay, hi. Good to see you. I love Gina. I love her so much. She's the best. So, and Daria, oh my God, you guys, okay, good. These are members of our program. So I love to know who's like on here. So glad you guys could join us. Okay. So, you're going to have the technical details, date, time, location, give a Zoom link, give an address, schedule it in their calendar, make sure they approve it. If they have somebody who does their scheduling, make sure that person knows they can get them on the phone at that time. Oh, good. That's really important that they're accessible, because I can't tell you how many times members of our community will lock down a virtual interview, even with a publication like the New York Times, and the client will ghost them. and just say, oh, I didn't think it was that important, or I wasn't really available that day. Well, you said we booked it. That impacts your relationships. If you have a client ghost your contact at a publication, that's going to reflect poorly on you. So this briefing document will do a really good job of giving them the information they need. You also want to include the interviewer's name, their contact information, maybe pull a little bio on that interviewer, and some of their most recent stories. That's your client's homework. They need to read up on the person who's going to be interviewing them. They have to be able to sometimes you match somebody's energy level, you match their personality, you want to be able to have a back and forth discussion. It really helps if you know what you're going into and who's going to be chatting with you on the other end. It is not, but let's do that. Oh my God, what a good idea. Okay, so either Daria or Gina is asking for a template on this. Let's do that. I love it. I have to do it right now or my monkey brain will forget. Same question about the template. That's so great. Okay, cool. That's such a great idea. See, you guys know if you have questions, we build out resources to help make your lives easier. Okay, and that's a great. Oh, Dwayna. Oh my God. All you people. Hi. Oh, Dwayna. Oh, Daria and Dwayna. Oh my God, you guys. For some reason, Jen, Dwayna wants it. Okay, good. There are so many people that are just saying Facebook user, which I don't love. I don't know why, but okay. So we'll create a prep briefing document template. Great suggestion. This is the thing that we're like, bleh. So when you guys ask, you get what you want. And this is okay, so they have to do their homework, and the briefing document helps the interview run smoothly, keeps your client on track, but that is just a starting point. That document alone, hi. Okay, good. Danielle saying, this is so good. I used to do briefing documents or prep sheets for my client interviews, and I totally got away from this for some reason. We'll add in, I don't know. It's on Facebook, but I think it's their share settings. I don't know, you guys. I'm so sorry. On my end, all 3 of you or 4 of you look exactly the same. So sorry. Okay. This isn't adequate enough. That's not the pure full prep. This is just getting you aligned on when, what, who, and all of that. And then you're going to have a prep session one-on-one with your client, and you can add your own notes. You can build that out a little bit depending on how things, look at you guys, on how things roll out. But yeah, so you'd start there, and then you'll have a discussion, and then you'll get more details built into that. You're also going to explain how you'll participate. You will participate in the interview. So it's really common for PR pros to sit in on client interviews, whether they're online, on the phone, or in person. It got challenging during COVID, but we did have a lot of virtual interviews, and we would be on Zoom, off camera, off audio, and just be available. Sometimes you can even message your client, which is really nice. If your client has never done a media interview before, they may not even know this. So you want to let them know your role and how you'll be participating. And since you're not the focus of the interview, you won't have a ton of input, obviously, but your client should be prepared for you to maybe jump in when necessary, to clarify, or to remind them of something. The goal is to not have to do that, because I think it has a subtle impact on their confidence and the interviewer's perception of their trustworthiness, depending on the questions, or their knowledge on the subject. If you have to like, nudge them and be like, remember this, it's your company. Why don't you know that? What are you hiding, or why don't you know this information? So try not to participate. But before the interview, quickly explain to your client why you're going to be there for the interview and what your purpose will be. So your presence should give them confidence. Don't cause unnecessary stress before the interview by emphasizing how you'll be there to correct them or redirect the conversation. If it goes on a tangent, that'll like stress them out. Oh my God, I can't go on a tangent. Like they're going to say something, because then if you do say something, they're going to be like, what did I do wrong? I went off on a tangent. Instead, remind them that you're there in case the interviewer goes off script. Your client maybe blanks on a statistic or something along those lines, or the examples that they want to share that you guys prepped and it's in the prep document, or your client is asked about an upcoming launch that they can't share yet. You can make it, oh, well, I'm so glad you asked about that, but we can't share just yet. But as soon as we can, you will be the first to know. Promise, like make it like super secret. But when we're ready, we're coming back, and help the client handle that, because they may be caught off guard. And sometimes they just get like word diarrhea and they just are like, oh, yeah, we have this upcoming launch. And you're like, oh, my God, you weren't supposed to talk about that. Anyway. Remember, they're not communications professionals. So you are also going to give your client homework. Like I said, your client should be familiar with the interviewer, their publication, their media outlet. That's before the interview even begins. So you're going to send them that briefing sheet with a handful of the most recent pieces and some of the publications, most relevant articles, videos to review, some that are even some that are in the same vertical that your client might appear on, or the same segment type, or the same interviewer has asked those questions, so you can see the interviewer style. You can do that in the briefing document, and you can show them that they should start to take in the interviewer's tone, their expertise, whether they stay on topic or if they're like a gotcha, like you're doing something media related that's a reputation rehabilitation, right? And something that happened in the past that was maybe a little negative may come up. Sometimes, and it will, and you prep your client for that, but sometimes interviewers will just keep going and they want to get a rise out of you. They want to get a reaction. It's like that gotcha journalism. You can be there to, make sure your client stays on track and the interviewer stays on track. But also, if you watch segments from the interviewer in the past, you can tell if that's the type of journalist they are. And get them ready. They may push you a little bit. You're going to be ready. Your feathers will not get ruffled because this may happen. And you also want them to start to get a sense of how to connect with the interviewer that they're going to be talking to just right off the bat, so that they can match the tone and everything. They'll learn more about the audience, the voice of the publication. It's just really helpful for them to come into it having done some diligence, prepping what they want to say, but also having an awareness of what the interview could or should be like. The homework is really important. The client's language, the words they use, the way they talk may have to change depending on the interviewer and their audience. So your client may need to tone down any industry jargon. If it's too technical, they may have to find ways around using terms that aren't universally understood or recognized in that interview, because it's more, mass population, mass market. It's not so niche down. You hear my doggy? She's like, I took her on a nice walk, and she's tired. So I do that so she leaves me alone. Otherwise, she paws me like, pay attention to me, walk me, let's go. So she's snoring or something. So you want to ensure that any technical jargon, legal jargon, anything that's too high level and nitty gritty details and specific are going to have to be kind of like dumbed down, right? Like talk as if you're talking to your aunt who doesn't really know anything about what you do, or hey, this audience is very savvy. The interviewer has obviously like a great level of technical understanding. You can speak the language here, and you also want to make sure that that any technical details will have to be that when they're explaining, okay, sometimes, when you like define a word by using the word itself and you're just like, well, like that doesn't help. So if you're trying to explain something by also using technical details, that's going to be confusing too. So have a way that you're able to describe something that's maybe a little technical or uses industry jargon in plain English. So it's easier to prepare for those things beforehand, so that you can have new descriptions, new explanations, because if you're doing that on the fly or on air, it's one of those things that can cause your client to get flustered. Okay. And sometimes they're used to preparing like technical documents for investors, right? Or the kinds of people they're used to communicating with, they just get it. Engineers or marketers or whatever, they're used to these technical terms, and they may not, the client you're having on the air may not have ever had to dumb it down. And so they might need your help because they think it's very obvious. And the average layperson will be like, my brain is scrambled. I don't know what this person's talking about. The next thing, let me just answer these few questions. You know what? I'm going to jump in and answer them at the end. I'm almost done. Let me get to those 3 questions. Don't go anywhere. I will get to them. I see 3 there. So you are going to hold a mock interview with your client. They have to take it seriously. If your client has never done a media interview before, this is the best way to prepare. They're going to get more comfortable speaking in an interview environment. They're going to know what to expect from the real thing. Bonus points if you can simulate the same kind of tech setup as the actual interview. If they're going to be in person on camera, set that up. They can see themselves. They can watch themselves. If it's going to be Zoom, record it so they can watch it back. You'll get a better sense of their strengths and their weaknesses in interviews, and then you can adjust their strategies accordingly. Sometimes they get tripped up on certain things. They can't remember facts and figures. And then when they can't remember stuff, it just looks like they're kind of incompetent or they're lying, right? It's not just like they're nervous. It's that they're incompetent or they're lying. And that's obviously not the case. So you just want to ensure, okay, if that way, those 3 words together are going to trip you up, let's find another way to say it. Like it's a tongue twister and they can't ever spit it out, right? So you want to make sure you roll through your talking points and they are able to spit them out efficiently and with clarity and authority. Otherwise, they look like they don't know their stuff, right? So schedule a call with your client for the mock interview. You're going to act as the interviewer, obviously, and start by asking your client basic questions and then move into the more unique ones that the interviewer is going to ask. You want them to talk about themselves, their bio, short and sweet. They can't ramble. You want to make sure the client's not rambling on and on because certain things are going to be asked, that. So they should have like succinct responses, because if this is a local segment, let's say, that is going to be used in the future, like I said at the top of the call, to show they're telegenic, to show they can carry a segment, all about showing this person is a great interview. And if you're talking to them and they can't even talk about who they are, what they do, and they're rambling on and on, I don't know. Who am I to say rambling? Because obviously I ramble. But if I'm in an interview setting, I don't. Well, sometimes I do. But you want to make sure that they have, short and sweet, and don't. It's like, I remember being an attorney and prepping clients for, their depositions. I'm like, what? Oh my God, my lawyer brain is like way shut off. Depositions. And you don't want them answering anything more than what was asked of them. Your clients in interviews for the media should give a little more color and a little more personality, but really they should not go off on a tangent. Okay. So when you're having this mock interview, you're going to take notes on what you'd like your client to improve on before they have that actual interview. You're going to record this as a video call, review it together afterwards so you can give feedback. And the goal is to get them prepped and ready and comfortable and confident for whatever happens. You might even try asking them those harder questions that are going to get them flustered so they have experience answering them when they're not expecting to. Okay. And then they'll see themselves on camera and you'll say, do you want to go through that again? And give them more training and opportunity to improve that response and keeping things succinct. So I think the footage is really good because you can see if they have weird mannerisms. They're talking with their hands. They're like slumped in their chair. They can see all of that. They're not making eye contact. The other thing too is, let them know about their clothing, something bright, not stripes. If they're going to be on TV, stripes tend to make the camera like wonky. Not white, just not white, not black. Some people love those colors, but white is, I think, the worst. I don't remember why, but black just sucks the life out of you a little bit. So, bright, colorful, you want them looking and feeling their best. So the last thing is confidence for your clients. And that is what you're there for, to cheer them on. You remind them, you can do this. You got this. Like, you're awesome. You got this. Knowing that you've prepared is totally different than feeling prepared. Your client knows their stats. Okay, great. Key messaging. And they know all of this like the back of their hand. There's always that like pre-interview jitters, especially if this isn't something they do a lot. That will sneak in. It'll throw things off course. It'll make them like forget. I also try to let them know that feeling of like jitteriness. I tell this to my kids all the time, that nervousness and excitement, anxiety and excitement feel really similar. Anticipation of something and being nervous about it and feeling excited, they feel really similar. And so I try to get them, my kids at least, in their head to look at that feeling, that pit in their stomach, like their heart fluttering or like their hands, as excitement. Their body is like, okay, it's time. Let's do this, right? And like a reframe, just so that they aren't like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. But it's like, wow, I'm really excited about this. I must really care. This must be really important to me. This must be a really cool opportunity. Little mindset shift. You can try that with your clients. It works on my kids. At least they tell me it does. But this is where you come in and you're there to support them. You are there to help them succeed, make sure they know they can work through that jitteriness or that stage fright. It doesn't matter. The only person that they're talking to is the interviewer. That's it. It doesn't matter if it's broadcast anywhere. It's, nobody... if they're being judged or what, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's just about answering the questions and thinking that it is a wonderful opportunity for you, for the client, their business, to share what they love, share what they're passionate about. And that should be exciting. It shouldn't make them like freaked out. They're going to enjoy it a lot more if they're just like, oh my God, I can't wait. This is going to be so awesome. Like, I'm going to make this awesome. So take some time before the interview. Make sure your client believes in themselves, right? They feel comfortable. They feel confident. I think it's helpful. There's like this rogue fly. Oh my God, you guys, I had another hummingbird in my office yesterday. If anyone's keeping track, there are a few people on here who know I get hummingbirds flying in all the time. I have like these windows, I open them, and there's skylights. So they think it's the sky and they fly in and then they just hit the skylight. It's so sad. Makes me so sad. If anything knows anything about like animal totems or anything like that, I need to look it up again, but what does a hummingbird represent? Because I've had no less than a dozen hummingbirds fly in my office and get stuck. And I have now figured out how to safely usher them outside. But the first one was so panicked and I couldn't get it to calm down, and they fly and they need so much energy to fly that fast that it exhausted itself and it couldn't fly. It wasn't dead, but it couldn't fly. So I literally went to my kitchen. I looked it up online. I made nectar out of sugar water. I got a little tiny, I'm not even kidding you guys, little tiny dropper, and I dropped sugar water like nectar in this hummingbird's mouth, and his little like long skinny tongue, it's like ugh, was coming out and getting the nectar. And I was like, drink the nectar, fly away. And it did get enough energy to fly away. And I was like, oh my God, I swear the hummingbird comes by and flies by and like for a while after that visits. But I have had 12 at least trapped in my office. It's crazy. It is so crazy. Hummingbird or love and attraction for you. Ooh, so beautiful. I love that. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, this is what I want to have you do for your clients. And you can do this for yourself. Anytime you're going into anything, a new client pitch meeting, the client's going on an interview, you're meeting a new person, or you're going on a date, or you're going out to meet the moms, like I kind of get a little nervous when I go out and meet the moms, I'm like, I don't get around them too often because I'm working, and like they all met this morning for coffee. I don't know why, but they were like, can you come? And I couldn't. And, so it's like I get together with them and I'm like, they don't know me. Like I'm not around as much. They all kind of have a bond. You can decide who you want to be in that moment. The best version of yourself, not a fake, not a phony version, the best version of yourself. Confident, supportive, interested. I remind myself to be interested. I want to ask people about themselves. I want to know, about where they're from. I like to know what trips they've taken. I want to know about their careers, their kid, like all of that. So I remind myself to be interested. I don't need to sit and talk about myself. Like I'm on social, it's like, if you want to know about me, you can ask about me. What I notice is a lot of people don't ever ask you about yourself, and that's fine, but the people who do, we have a deeper connection. And I feel like when you are interested and you ask questions, people tend to like you more because you're showing them, I care about you. I care about what you're up to. And for me, that's genuine. I really want to know, like, what are you up to? Like, where'd you go on your vacation? Any vacations planned? How is it going with your kid? Trying to remember something that they told you the last time you talked. But you can remind yourself, like I get on client calls and you guys know I have two. I have one today at 1:00. Someone reached out with a really interesting opportunity. And then I have that other one tomorrow. That is the old client, the new private equity team talking to me about bigger opportunities. So I'm like super excited. So I tell myself I'm confident. I know my stuff. I probably know this brand better than they do because I worked on it for 11 years. They only did due diligence to buy the company. Like they're still learning. So I'm come in and be like super confident in what I do and all of that. It's a mindset, and you can tell yourself how you want to show up. Remind your clients in interviews, ask them, how do you want to be perceived? Yeah, same goes for dating, Melissa. Thanks. Hummingbirds are a good sign. Love, devotion, beauty. They can also be fierce defenders of their territory, like respected. Interesting. Is that say something about me? Or like, oh. Also, who's posting this? Because there are 3 Facebook users. Gina, is that you? Daria? Dwayna? Who is it? I love all of this. Link me out to something because I want to read about this. But remind your clients, you ask them, who do you want to be? How do you want to be perceived? You know, you get to decide. Christine, awesome. Thank you. How do you want to show up on this call? And before that, you remind them. I tell my kids, I put it on Post-its on the back of their door. How do you, 3 things, if I were going to describe you as the best version of yourself, what would you want to overhear me saying about you? I'm smart, I'm a good friend, and I'm funny. So I remind my kids every day, remember, you're going to show up as your smartest, funniest, best friend self. So you can say this to your clients and make sure they are reminded just beforehand who they want to be, how they want to be perceived. Oh, hi. Thank you so much. I love this, Christine. And thanks for clarifying that, because at first I'm like, I don't know which Christine, but that, yes, I know exactly. So I love it. Thank you. If you're able to be with them, either if it's in person or virtually right before the call, you know, shake off the nerves, get excited, put up some music, like what's their pump you up song? What's your pump you up song? Whatever it is, quick pep talk, like bring the energy up. You want to bring the energy up. That'll help shake off the nerves and that'll get them showing up with the highest energy, because energy tends to like go down as you're talking. You want to have them show up just energized and excited. And if not, you can, if you can't be there, you can't join live, you're not going to be present with them, give them some kind of grounding exercises to complete before the call for a quick confidence boost. And that's where you can remind them, remember you told me you want to be perceived as, empathetic, smart, knowledgeable, a helper, caring and compassionate, whatever it is, write it down on a Post-it note. And right before you go out, you're going to look at that note and be those things, think those things, be those things, all of that to get in that right headspace so they can show up as the best version of themselves. And you can all pat yourselves on the back when this awesome interview comes out and you're going to be like, you nailed it. And now that is a piece that you can leverage for other opportunities. You can also, workshop, like, we would have loved to have talked about this, or this would have been a really great place for this talking point. But, remember for next time, definitely after the fact, you're going to want to do like kind of a postmortem and just talk through like, how did you feel? You like, how can we make this easier? Maybe we take bullets and put them on note cards so you can just remember those key pieces really quickly and know when to plug them in the conversation. All of that is going to really help your client nail it. It's going to make you look great. Your media contacts are going to love working with you because they're going to say, Christine's clients are always well prepared. Christine's clients are super telegenic. Melissa's clients always know how to carry a segment. I love working with her because she preps her clients and they are the best interviews that we have. So that is how you prepare your client and will also make your job, your results better, because it sucks when you're like, I got you an interview, I did it, like, yay! And then they go on and they bomb and you're like, ugh. And then it's just worse off. It's like, would have been better off if it didn't happen. And when you prep them and they feel confident and they have that right mindset going into it, it's easy and they're awesome. And that is also an asset you can leverage in your business and be like, we prepare clients and we crush it. If you have, I will say, a CEO, let's say you do crisis comms, and you aren't specifically trained in media training for crisis comms, you need to bring in an expert, because those situations are more dire. If it's a product recall, if it's something where someone got injured, or there's something really negative in the press about the work culture, something bad where you're doing damage control, crisis comms, you have a high level CEO that is moving markets by the things they say, right? Like Elon Musk needs like he wouldn't listen to anyone. He probably has had media training. He doesn't care, right? So you probably should bring in an expert for that. There are people that are perfectly trained to do that very thing. Don't take that on yourself, because the messaging really matters. The prep all of that on crisis comms and reputation rehabilitation. Bring in the pros for that. Okay. So I'm going to go back now and answer questions. So there's a lot of questions. Thanks for the engagement here. I love it. I'm so happy you're all here. Let me go back. I think I know where the first one was. Let me see. Okay. Hi guys. Thank you so much for being here. Blah, blah, blah. Daria says, I always sit in on the client, her agency's the Daria Fennell Media Group interviews if they're on Zoom, and she introduces the client to the journalist. She sort of facilitates that introduction, and then she goes on mute, goes off camera. And her most intricate interview was when my clients were based in Johannesburg, South Africa, and the interviewer was based in Portugal, and you're in the East Coast of the US. That is like a lot to coordinate, but whoa. Okay, and then even though I send a briefing doc, this is someone else, I think, I don't know, because it's one of those Facebook users. So I try to set a briefing meeting time with the client before the interview. Sometimes the client gets busy or doesn't read through the briefing document, especially if they're execs. So just because, that's a great point, just because you put it together and said, here you go, look at all this beautiful work I did for you, again, with the like social media, they're not going to look. They're going to be like, I know everything. I already know this, my company. So get on the phone, get an interview, and then you'll see if they really are as ready as they think they are. Somebody is asking about podcasts. I thought it might make my client a bit nervous if I joined the Zoom interview. Podcasts should be treated like all other interviews. They are a great opportunity. Podcasts, you guys, do not sleep on podcasts. I think people are now realizing, like, you got to hit that. They have really good SEO value, and they live on, right? So they will link to your client's company in the show notes, and that's going to generate some real meaningful traffic. We've seen it with our clients. It is also a wonderful opportunity for your client to be let their personality shine through and it's a little more casual. It's more like a conversation than like an interview. You know, it's more back and forth, not just so one-sided and then like question and response. It can be a more casual setting. It's a great way to start cutting their teeth on being interviewed by the media. And a lot of times they will record a podcast and record a YouTube video at the same time. Like they'll take the audio, make a podcast, they'll record the video, put it on YouTube, and that lives on and it's searchable. You know, YouTube's a great search engine, you guys. Like you'll see that traffic to the videos builds over time. It doesn't go down over time like it would on other social platforms. YouTube traffic, you'll see videos like the results start to spike and the views are cumulative, and that'll be on there. We have videos from 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they're just now starting to like really draw in an audience for us because they're coming up in search. So those are great opportunities. But if your client is nervous, if you join the Zoom, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't always sit on the phone. If you are confident that your client can handle it, you've prepped them, then let them, if you think that your presence makes them more nervous, then let them go off on their own if you think they can handle it. If you really are worried and it's a very technical, tricky, or like dicey situation, just say, I am only here for your benefit just because I want to cheer you on, or like I could whatever. Like you probably, 99% likelihood you're not going to hear from me or see me, but it would just make me feel better because it's my connection, whatever. So you can decide, but don't sleep on podcasts. I always join to connect with the journalist first and intro my client and the interviewee. I haven't had a client exec tell me not to join. It's also managing expectations and being clear about your role. And I'm on there 99% to listen, which is so funny. That's what I just said. And also in case the journalist may need additional information that I'll follow up with later. That's an excellent point, is that you can jot down notes. The client might be just too nervous or too focused on the question that was just asked to think about follow-up questions that you can answer over email or resources that they asked for. Your client may forget, and you don't want to put the burden on the journalist to ask you for those things. You want to just be like, these are the things you needed. So whoever asked that, because the name isn't there, you can mention that. That's a really, really good point. It might be the same person who mentioned that, but that's a super, super good point. You can just answer that and have it all ready to go. Even you can be preparing it as the interview is happening. And by the time they're off, it's in their inbox. Thank you so much. What a wonderful interview. Can't wait for it to go live. Here's the additional information you discussed we think will be helpful. Oh my God, are you buttoned up? You're going to look so good. So, do you make recommendations? Hi, Danielle. For wardrobe during the prep time? Absolutely. I don't know if you heard me mention that, but clothes they're comfortable in. You don't want them fidgeting in their seat. Like I am right now wearing this jumpsuit that's riding up and my seat wiggles. I don't know. I'm always wiggling in my seat. You want them comfortable. You don't want them to feel like their clothes are pulling or they're like thinking about their clothes. So they're fidgeting or they're not comfortable. Colors that brighten them, brighten their, like, what's their favorite color to wear? Something that's going to bring out the best in them, like appearance wise, like not stripes, not tiny dots or details, not overwhelming prints, solid colors. If your client is an executive, they may want to wear, a female would wear something like business casual or a suit. When I was an attorney, it was all about the skirt suit. We had to wear tights or nylons or whatever. Oh my God, if I never wear another pair of nylons. That was ages ago. I would imagine they don't make attorneys do that now, but men, can wear like a sport coat or something that looks more like the role. If your client is a chef, they can wear a toque. Do you know that's what that called? The hat? Toque. They could wear, a chef's, apron or coat. If it's a doctor, they can wear, their scrubs or their like more upscale doctor-y type clothes. If your client's a fitness instructor, then they can wear spandex, whatever like makes them like, 'cause maybe they're going to be demonstrating moves for the hosts to go through and do at the same time. They're going to need to have their fitness gear on. So, but if it's just like a normal old person, you want them to be in a color that makes them feel really confident, and clothes that aren't tight, nothing too tight, because when they sit down, it stretches across the belly, and nothing too tenty, because then it just, tailored and nice, confident, comfortable. And if they have a profession that's a very specific type of uniform or clothes that they wear, they can wear that. Oh, that's okay, Danielle. No worries. Oh, okay, interesting. I have so many requests for podcasts from clients. Danielle is saying millennial clients and users love podcasts. They even pay to be on them. It's a dope, easy medium to break in for clients. Yeah, I totally agree. It's just easy and kind of a light way to dip your toe in being interviewed. Some podcasts are big deals though, like, and those you have to work up to it. And some of them do have a fee to be on. So yeah. And then somebody said sometimes a writer will spring a surprise question, trying to get more info, even though that's not the scope of the interview. Is it okay to jump in during the interview, non-TV or live, and what's appropriate to say to protect the client? Well, we talked about the gotcha type stuff. I think it depends on the client. It depends on the question. Oh, good. It depends on the client. It depends on the question. I've never personally had this happen to me, so I'm not entirely sure how I would handle it. But my first thought is, what is the client? If it is like a publicly traded company, the stakes are high, and you respond with a smile on your face and say, oh, with all due respect, this question is a bit out of scope of today's interview. So if we can just stick with the questions that we discussed, or, he's not at liberty to discuss that at the moment or here today. You always see those publicists try to be, push those journalists back onto the right track. If it's something that's harmless enough, or your client isn't in a position where it's like the stakes are high, you know what I mean? There's a difference between like a fitness instructor, going on, or give me an example if you have. It's always helpful for the person who asked that question to think through like a specific example of what you're thinking, so we can all workshop it together. This is why it's great to be on our, I have a program that's called the Pitch Lab. Gina's in the Pitch Lab. Daria's in the Pitch Lab. Let me know who else is on here that's in the Pitch Lab. Melissa's in the Pitch Lab. I think it's an exceptional program. I'm very, very proud of it. And we teach you and your team how to become a pitching powerhouse. And then and Danielle's in there too, right? And then we give you monthly execution plans, so you know exactly what to pitch, long, short lead angles, real editorial calendars, holiday, seasonal themes, like ideas for what to pitch and when. The program is exceptional. And the value is beyond measure. It is so good. Yeah, you're in the Pitch Lab. I knew it. Tell me what you think, Danielle. Whoever is on, what you think of the Pitch Lab. But we talk about this stuff. We will share on the calls. There's a monthly call. There's a Facebook group where people share ideas and ask questions about pitches. We work through really hard pitches, give people new ideas, new angles, new information. I feel like people always leave the call with their questions answered better than expected. And like I always say, it's not me. I'm not telling everything. We have hive mind, everybody. It's like a true collaborative environment. So the better the questions, the better the responses. Anyone on here in the Pitch Lab, let us know what you think. And if you're not happy, that's cool. Ew, get out of my coffee. Oh my God, ew. Friggin' gross. Oh my God. Pitch Lab is amazing. Awesome. Okay, good. So we can walk through certain situations like this in that program too, where you can share, like we just had a whole discussion around, a client, a client is like struggling with, or you're really challenged with like getting them ready for an interview, and we can walk through all this. Danielle says, I enjoy the resources that come out monthly, the strategy angles. Yeah. It helps me prepare for my clients and gives me more confidence to perform for them as well. The monthly call was so useful to me last month. And I got my question answered and nice clarity. Awesome. I always learn something that is unique. So do I. Hi, Jen. All of your products are incredible, including the Pitch Lab are incredible. Oh, thank you. Who said that? I don't know who that is. But thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just always want to make sure, like, if you guys need something else, we'll make it, we'll build it. You know, we're always here to do all of that. But I built out a program that I wished existed when I was learning about PR. I'm still learning about PR. When we pull these together, Daria. Okay. Hi. Thank you. And my clients are so impressed by the knowledge that I bring to them that I gain from everyone in the Pitch Lab. Yes. 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 It is there. Danielle says, and the recordings helped me prepare for a new niche client who has products in fashion design. The recordings are necessary. Awesome. This is there to help you gain confidence at all levels so that I have people use our execution plans to get on sales calls around a certain niche, look up those publications and be like, this publication in this month is working on this editorial topic. We think you'd be a good fit for that. Now, all of a sudden, you're like super media insider, super in the know. Clients are like, damn, they know their stuff. You can also use that information for building your strategies out. And then you have your regular pitching you can use them for. But every single month, you get a new execution plan. I'm finalizing Marches right now. So March will come out in about a week. You get them 2 or so weeks in advance of the upcoming month. And they are long lead, short leads. This program is only $97, you guys. It is like so no brainer. Like, I tried to make it affordable for anybody. And I will say it's very hard to create resources that are for beginners and for expert level seasoned professionals. That's not easy to do. And I think we've done it. I have people all levels. I have people that have been working in PR for decades that are in there and come to our conversations. They read those resources all the time. They're using we call it the roadmap. It's basically a step by step how to pitch the media. How do you do PR as a service? You can train your team with that and save yourself so much time. It's just an incredible resource as you're honing your skills. Anyway, so on these calls, like, Danielle brought a great question. We all walked through it and gave some feedback, and the calls are always recorded. So you can go back and review it, or you can see one you missed. It's an excellent resource. But we're going to talk quickly about Crickets to Crushing It. I just posted that link in there. I'm going to do it again. Thank you all for that wonderful feedback. It makes me feel really, really happy, but it also makes me know that we're giving the people what they want, right? Like, if there's something that's missing, or, we need to know and build it in, which is why that prep sheet was so helpful. And look at this, Daria is saying, I celebrate 30 years in entertainment PR in 2025. And she's in there, right? So you've got seasoned, really savvy PR professionals in there, and they're still learning a ton. I learn a ton as we build these out, and we're all sharing ideas. So, that landing media hits, landing interviews is just one part of that PR puzzle. It could be one part of your strategy, but we are running a free masterclass that's called Crickets to Crushing It. I have not done it live in about 2 years. So we've updated, it's like fully updated. It is how to double your media coverage and land more high impact, top tier features for your clients. I put a registration link in the chat. That's coming up soonish. I don't know. Anyway, and if you have questions about the Pitch Lab, let us know. It's $97 a month. It's so good. Nicola, hi. God, I don't know. Yeah, I get that everybody's coming through the event link and I can't see who it is, but I'm so glad that you're all saying your name. That really helps me. But that's what I have for you today. You guys asked great questions, really good. And I love the collaborative sharing and how everybody's doing everything when they're prepping their clients and challenges you've come up with and how you've overcome them. So that's what this community is all about. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And we are just going to keep making our resources, our community, our training, our support better and better and better for you. So love those hearts, love those thumbs up. And that also really helps people find our videos too after the fact. So thank you for that. And thank you, Christine, for giving me insight into why the hummingbirds are, or how I should perceive the hummingbirds that always get trapped in my office. Like right above me, right there. It's always right there. Queenie, you're so welcome. Thanks for coming again. And Daria says, thanks, Jen. This was awesome per usual. You're awesome per usual. Thank you all so much. Nothing but gratitude. And let us know what you want to learn about. We'll make it. We'll build it. Build it and they will come. Yeah, we're here for you. So you're the boss. Tell us what you want to learn and we'll make it for you. And until then, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the big game because we know that everyone's saying the big game because you can't say Super Bowl. I mean, I can say Super Bowl, but everything is the big game, the big game. If you've been pitching your clients for the big game, enjoy, have fun this weekend, pay attention to those fun commercials, eat lots of 7-layer dip. That's my favorite. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much. Bye.